In April 1865, the White House rested under a deep and unusual silence. The long years of the American Civil War were finally coming to an end, yet President Abraham Lincoln found no rest that night. While the city of Washington, D.C. slowly drifted into sleep, Lincoln remained awake, seated quietly, listening to the soft stillness around him. This was a moment of calm American history that few witnessed. The war had exhausted the nation, and it had also worn heavily on its president. Lincoln's thoughts moved slowly through memories of battlefields, divided families, in a country struggling to heal. As a tired leader, he carried the emotional weight of reunification, freedom, and the uncertain future of the United States. The White House, usually filled with voices and footsteps, felt almost empty. Lantern light glowed faintly in the halls as Lincoln reflected on peace and responsibility. This gentle bedtime history story captures a rare, quiet moment in American history when leadership felt heavy and sleep felt distant. Told in a slow and calming style, this Abraham Lincoln sleep story invites listeners to relax, unwind, and drift peacefully into rest, guided by the quiet hours of a restless president in a nation standing at the edge of history. Though the American Civil War had officially ended, peace did not arrive easily. Across the United States, towns and cities rested under a fragile calm. Soldiers were returning home, families were grieving, and the nation struggled to understand what came next. In this quiet moment of American history, the country slept uneasily, carrying the emotional weight of years of conflict. President Abraham Lincoln felt this exhaustion deeply. His concern was no longer the battlefield, but the difficult task of reunifying a divided nation. Late at night, as Washington, D.C. grew silent, Lincoln reflected on freedom, the end of slavery, and the fragile future of the United States. This slow American history bedtime story gently explores a time when victory brought uncertainty rather than rest. The streets were quieter than before, yet the tension remained. Farms, factories, and communities across America worked to rebuild, while the future of the United States felt uncertain. This calm history storytelling captures the uneasy stillness of a nation caught between war and peace. Told with soft narration and true historical detail, this relaxing bedtime history segment invites listeners to unwind. It is a peaceful reminder that even after great wars, America needed time to breathe, recover, and slowly learn how to rest again. As the night deepened in Washington, D.C., President Abraham Lincoln remained quietly awake. The White House was still, and the sounds of the city had faded into a gentle silence. In these late hours, Lincoln's thoughts moved slowly through the long and difficult journey of the American Civil War. This calm American history bedtime story explores the final reflections of a president carrying the weight of a nation. Lincoln often used the quiet of night to think. He reflected on freedom, the end of slavery, and the fragile future of the United States. Though the war had ended, the work of healing had only begun. In this slow history storytelling moment, Lincoln's mind wandered through memories of loss, sacrifice, and hope for reunification. A single lamp lit the room as he paced gently, thinking about the people of America and the responsibility of leadership. This Abraham Lincoln sleep story blends true historical details with soft narration, creating a peaceful space for reflection. There was no urgency, no speeches, only silence and thought. Told slowly and with care, this relaxing American history bedtime segment invites listeners to drift into sleep while sharing a quiet moment with one of the most thoughtful figures in U.S. history. On that quiet night in April 1865, Washington, D.C. felt unusually calm. The American Civil War had ended only days earlier, and the city rested under a quiet sense of relief. Yet beneath the surface, a subtle tension lingered in the air. This slow American history bedtime story gently explores the calm before one of the most important moments in U.S. history. President Abraham Lincoln moved through his final evening with a peaceful presence. There were no loud celebrations, only soft conversations and feeling of fragile hope. The streets near the White House were quiet, and lanterns glowed faintly as the city prepared for rest. This calm history storytelling reflects a moment when America stood between relief and uncertainty. Though nothing appeared wrong, history was quietly shifting. In this relaxing American bedtime history segment, true historical details are shared softly, without drama or shock. The focus remains on the stillness of the night, the tired nation, and the gentle passing of time. Told slowly and with soothing voice, this Abraham Lincoln sleep story invites listeners to relax and unwind. It captures the silent tension of a nation on the edge of change, just before history would move forward forever. On that quiet night in April 1865, history itself seemed unable to sleep. The White House rested in silence, and the city of Washington, D.C. lay calm beneath the dark sky. President Abraham Lincoln's final hours passed gently, marked not by noise, but by stillness. This calm American history bedtime story reflects on a moment when the future of the United States quietly shifted. There were no speeches, no warnings, only the slow passing of time. America, exhausted by the Civil War, stood at a fragile turning point. In this relaxing American history storytelling segment, we remember how peace felt uncertain and how leadership carried great weight. Lincoln's presence remains steady, thoughtful, and deeply human. This Abraham Lincoln sleep story does not rush toward tragedy. Instead, it pauses in the quiet space before history changed forever. The soft silence of that night reminds us that some of the most important moments in American history happen without sound. Told slowly and with care, this final reflection invites listeners to rest. It is a peaceful ending to a long journey through America's past, where history stayed awake so that future generations could remember, reflect, and gently drift into rest.